We're about to jump into my top things that are going on in the North Carolina General Assembly this week. The first thing, we had a law that was passed yesterday, and it is called the Fostering Care in North Carolina Act. This law will be protecting kids that are in foster care. The state will be getting more involved in the county agencies to making sure and holding them accountable to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be when we're talking about these kids and foster care. Before this law, the state mostly waited until some things were terrible before they jumped in. But now they're going to be coming in sooner to make sure that they are able to fix problems and prevent any issues when it comes to these kids. As far as investigations, there will be stricter timelines in place when it comes to looking into abuse with kids or neglect. They won't be delaying as they used to be delaying when it comes to leaving these kids in danger. They're going to be stepping in lickety split. Checks and balances for the counties. The counties are going to make sure that they're running a proper background checks to the people who are in these foster care systems and that they're following tighter rules. If they don't want to follow the rules, the state can come in and take over and shift these cases elsewhere to make sure that they're getting the things that they need. Also, for safer family visits when it comes to these kids, the kid won't be able to just be sent back to their parents unsupervised. They'll have to have written documentation and court approval to go back with the parent and make sure that the first visits that they have are supervised first. When it comes to the judges in the foster care system, they'll have a little bit more power. So if the Department of Social Services comes in and they try to remove a child from a home that they've been in and it's a safe environment for them with the foster parent, the child's lawyer will be able to go to the judge now and be like, hey, listen, we might need a hold up on this so y'all can actually know what's going on. This child is actually in a safe environment. So the judges will be able to come in and have a little bit more power in that area. We're talking about a statewide cell phone ban in classrooms. This has passed in both the House and the Senate. They're waiting on the governor to either sign it or not right now. I'm hearing that he's actually in agreement and for this bill, but there will be no cell phones in the classrooms, period, unless it's an emergency or if it's part of the lesson. The schools will have to have mandatory digital literacy lessons, and they'll have to teach the negative effects of social media on mental health, including addiction, how to identify cyberbullying, predatory behavior, and human trafficking on the internet. These are things that are going to have to be taught in the class if this bill is passed. Now, if this is passed, this will definitely be in effect when your kids go back to school in August. I want to go ahead and give y'all a heads up. Y'all can prepare hearts and minds now. Now, the next thing, we have House Bill 805. The people are saying this bill is very controversial. A lot of people are going back and forth about this. This is the Prevent Sexual Exploitation of Women and Minors Act. Now, this bill was passed in both the House and the Senate. But right now it's waiting on the governor to decide what he wants to do, if he wants to sign it, if he wants to veto it, meaning he's not agreeing with it, or if he doesn't do anything, it will automatically go and become law. This bill breaks down a lot of things. It defines sex in North Carolina. A person would either be considered a male or a female based on their bodies at birth. The law will go by things like your reproductive parts, your chromosomes at birth, how a person identifies, their gender identity. That would not change your legal sex under this law. If you are a man that identifies as a woman, or if you are a woman that identifies as a man, and so on and so forth, North Carolina will not recognize that under this law. The next thing on this bill, we're going to be discussing the adult entertainment, adult content on the internet. They're going to be requiring websites to make sure that they are checking to make sure the people that are on these videos or in these pictures are 18 and older. They will need written permission from the people to film and to act in these videos or pictures. If someone's image or video is posted without permission, they must take it down within 72 hours. And if they decide that they don't want to take it down within the 72 hours, they will be fined $10,000 per day, per image, per video. When it comes to state money and gender transition medical care, no state money will be used to pay for gender transition surgeries, puberty blockers, or cross-sex hormones for minors under the age of 18 and people that are in state prisons or jails. The only exception, y'all, to this is for people who have had prior procedures. and they're having medical complications, they could get help in their area if need be, if this is passed. Next, we have parents' rights in schools. Now, schools will have to make a list of all the library books that they have available in the library and make sure that it's online for parents to be able to see what's on the shelves. Parents will be able to tell the school that they do not want their children checking out certain books. They will also be able to ask the school to excuse their children from any classroom conversation or activities that go against their family's religion. The parents will be able to do that if this law is passed. Next, when it comes to birth certificates and people having sex changes and things, your old birth certificate will not go away. They are going to put the new birth certificate and the old birth certificate together. It will be one document and kept together, and it will always show both. When it comes to lawsuits of people who feel as though they have been harmed by gender transition care, they will have up to 10 years to sue for malpractice. And doctors will not be allowed to have patients sign away their rights to sue for any kind of care. So if doctors have done that in the state of North Carolina and you feel as though that there's been some malpractice or harm to yourself after the surgery, you will be able to sue these people and do what you need to do. The last thing we have, there's a trial going on in North Carolina. I don't know if y'all know that. Our Republican lawmakers are getting sued yet again. This is nothing new. So this case is about voting maps that were drawn in 2023 and whether or not they were drawn fairly, if they were drawn legally, or if they were designed to silence certain voters. Now, I want to break a couple of things down before I get into detail about this case. Every 10 years after the U.S. Census, the states have to redraw their voting maps to reflect the population changes. Now, in North Carolina, the General Assembly is in charge of that process. They draw maps for our congressional districts, our state house districts, and our state senate districts. So these maps decide who represents you, who you vote for, and how much of your vote actually counts. So when these lines are drawn in a way that favors one side or favors Republicans or favors Democrats, that is called gerrymandering. Now, stay with me. I want to break down two things when it comes to gerrymandering. First thing is called cracking. Now, cracking is breaking up a group of voters so they don't have power anywhere. Packing is jamming similar voters into one district to limit impact elsewhere. That's what the people are saying is going on across the state of North Carolina. Is a lot of gerrymandering right now. And there are some civil rights groups like the Common Cause and the North Carolina NAACP and a couple of individual voters who are suing our Republican-led General Assembly. They're saying that in 2023 that they used race improperly when it comes to drawing the districts, and they cracked and packed Black and Latino voters. They're saying that they violated the Voting Rights Act and they violate the 14th Amendment and the 15th Amendment. And some counties that are in is Pitt County, Durham County, Wake County, Mecklenburg, Edgecombe County, Wilson County, to name a few. Now, our lawmakers admitted to drawing the map to benefit their Republican Party. They didn't lie about that, but they said that race was not a factor. These are a couple of things that's going on in Raleigh this week. I appreciate y'all for watching.